Hello everyone and welcome to another incredible game from round 5 of this year's Tata Steel Challengers edition. It is Thomas Beerdsen versus Eline Roebers, and it's quite a beautiful game. I knew that as both of them were pretty much natural attackers that the game would be really wild. I did not expect it to be this wild. So both of them going into round 5 have accumulated 2 points. Eline by getting 2 draws, 1 loss, and winning 1 game. She defeated Erwin Lamy and lost to Abhimanyu Mishra, and Thomas by drawing his 4 previous games, I think to Ariban, to Vaishali, to Supi, and to Pehac. This game, well, it's truly something else. Let's dive straight into it. Features a very cool line of the French. So this is what happened. Thomas with the white pieces opens with e4. We have e6 by Eline going for the French defense, d4, d5, and now knight to c3. We have bishop to b4 going for the Winawer variation, and pretty much always you will see e5 here. It's very rare that we will have this position on the board and not see e5, at least in top level chess. But here we have bishop to d2. Thomas prepared something special. He probably knew that she was going to play the French, and he wanted to play something else, not the absolute main line. And this is like the 6th most popular move in this position for white. So okay, d captures on e4. We have queen to g4 going after the g7 pawn, and just knight to f6, attacking the queen, giving up the g7 pawn. This is how you play this line, and she shows that she knows it. Queen captures on g7, we have rook to g8, queen to h6, and now queen captures on d4. White, of course, happily castles queenside now, maybe threatening some nasty discoveries, but bishop back to f8. Again, the main move, attacking the queen, queen to h4, and now rook to g4. Black getting a lot of development here. We have queen to h3, and now queen captures on f2. And it's a fairly known position. It has been reached quite a few times. Some maybe 10 games in top tier tournaments have reached this position. And usually everyone plays bishop to e2 here. But bishop to e3 is the strongest move that you play here. For some reason, I guess everyone missed this, or maybe they analyze it on such a deep line that I don't have access to it. Maybe they know bishop to e2 is better for some reason. But I will just show you for fun what happens if bishop to e2 is played. In the game it wasn't played, but bishop to e2 is very tricky. It attacks the rook. Now rook to h4 attacks the queen, and now look at this. Queen captures on h4, giving up the queen, but only temporarily. Queen captures on h4, and now pawn to g3. This is how you play it, and now you trap the black queen, and black, of course, will have to give it back. You're going to play queen to h6, bishop captures with check, king to b1, and then you try and play this position. It's very tricky, but black should be better. If you count the pawns, black is up 2 pawns, and if you count the pieces, black has 2 pieces for a rook. So black should definitely be better here. So why everyone plays bishop to e2 here is a weird thing, but you know, the database doesn't lie. But okay, bishop to e3 is what you should play here. Also was not played in the game. Bishop to e3, you kick away the black queen, and once the queen moves, now you play bishop to e2. You attack the rook, you force a trade here, captures, and once the rook captures on g2, you will play knight to f4, and you will force the rook back. Yes, you are down a couple of pawns, but you have all the development you want. Black still has to develop pretty much all of the pieces. Black should be a little bit better here, but I mean, you played this voluntarily with white. But instead we have g3 here, and this is where things get incredibly interesting. She goes queen to c5 here, now prepares to push e3. We have bishop to g2, and now pawn to e3, attacking Thomas's bishop on d2, bishop to e1, and now knight to c6. We have knight g to e2, and here we have rook to c4. This is an incredible position for black, and there are many great moves for black here. I will just show you one line that is absolutely spectacular because I know how much you guys will enjoy it. Pawn to e5. Now you are threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries with the rook, and white's best reply is knight to d5, just threatening to win the knight with check, and after you trade here, captures, and attack the black queen, queen to c4, and now you play knight to c3. Luckily, black doesn't have any good discoveries with the bishop on the white queen, so bishop to e6. That's the problem for white, and now you pretty much resign here. what do you play? Best is bishop to f1. You attack the black queen, but just queen to b4. And now look at this. Pawn to a3. Okay, you can move the queen back. Queen to e7. But now once the rook finally moves, or you give up the rook, you can also try that. But look at this. If rook to d1, queen captures on a3. Absolutely crushing. And now you might think, okay, I know what's happening now we're just gonna capture here, then we're gonna deliver a check somehow with the rook, for example, rook to b4 check, and then we're gonna pick up the queen on h3. And yes, you would think that, but no, look at this. B captures on a3, bishop captures on a3 with check, king to b1, now rook to b4 check, thinking, okay, now we win back the queen. King to a1, only move for white, and now king to a1, only move for white, and now bishop to b2 with check. King to b1, bishop captures on c3, another discovery, only move is now king to c1 as the bishop covers the a2 square, and now you're probably thinking, okay, now we take back the queen, but no, bishop to a2. And now white resigns as checkmate is unavoidable here. You can avoid it, but you have to suffer like severe material loss. Like you have to play queen d7 check, and after king to f8, you are without any useful checks. You have to play queen captures on f7, king captures, and bishop to c4 check, just to get some of the attackers away from the white king. Now let's say rook captures, bishop captures, rook captures, but you're just up 2 full pieces. This is of course unplayable. So just a fun line that starts with pawn to e5. Eline played rook to c4 first, now puts pressure along the c file, and now we have pawn to g4. Now you no longer have to worry about the e5 pawn so much. Pawn to e5, it's still the best move, although it does not come with an attack on the queen. Now queen to f3, we have bishop to e7, defending the knight on f6, and now pawn to g5, and now bishop to g4, going all out here against the white queen. We have queen to f1, and now look at this, knight to d4, spectacular move by Eline, trying to give up the knight on f6, but of course you cannot capture this. If you capture on f6, then knight captures on e2 with check, and there's nothing. If knight captures, then rook captures on c2, but I mean, that's your only move. If you don't do this, you're just lost. If queen captures, then you capture the queen, but if you capture here, then just rook captures on c2, check king b1, and now even bishop captures on e2, attacking the queen and the rook. And you might think, okay, queen f5, let's try something like this, but just bishop captures. Now rook to c1 will be checkmate, so you're not in time to collect on e7. You cannot start with g captures on f6. So king to b1 by Thomas makes sense. You want to get the king away from all the checks, but now knight captures on e2. Knight captures on e2, and the rook captures on c2. Now putting pressure on the knight here. So bishop to f3, and now bishop to f5, threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries. And now we reach the position from the thumbnail. Maybe, I don't know if I will use this one. Bishop to c6 check. This is the only way to survive. You have to give up the bishop in order to take the bishop on c6. And here, queen captures on c6 must be played. But Eline was low on time, and she played b captures on c6. I will just show why queen captures on c6 is much stronger. The problem is now after queen captures on f5, you're going to play rook captures on e2, and now you cannot play queen capture, or you wouldn't play that anyway because the bishop covers. But what I mean is you cannot move the queen away from the defense of the c2 pawn. Otherwise, queen c2 check followed by queen to b2 is checkmate. So you're going to capture on f6. Now queen captures, and that's it. White has nothing here. If queen to d7 check, you're just going to play king to f8. And there's no way to try anything. If rook to g1, you're going to play queen to b6 now, threaten checkmate. And if bishop to c3, now you can play rook to d8. You chase away the white queen. For example, queen f5, you can trade once, captures, it's with check, so you must capture. And now queen to g6 forces a trade, and of course the resulting endgame is completely winning for black. You can see that black is up like 4 pawns. So queen captures on c6 here is a definite win, but you played b captures on c6, which also makes sense as it opens up the b file for the other rook. But now queen captures on f5, Rook captures on e2, and now g captures on f6. And this is the problem. The problem is you cannot play bishop to d6. If bishop to d6, look at this. The queen covers d7, pawn covers d7. How are you stopping this? Rook g1 threatens checkmate, and the only defense you have is, also you can't play king to f8, then just queen captures on h7. It's not much better. Only defense you would have is something like this, but this is also, I mean, just very ugly. The queen will gobble that up, and other than that you have nothing. So yeah, here you would just resign as black. So that's why you have to play bishop captures on f6. And okay, you don't mind playing this, because if queen captures, you still have queen to c2 check, followed by queen to b2 checkmate. Rook to g1, now going after rook to g8 check. So king to f8, and now bishop to c3. This is an excellent move. Stops queen to c2 in some lines, also protects the b2 pawn, but it allows a rook to b8 with tempo. And Eline playing this with engine precision. Now queen captures on c3 is the threat. Of course, the b pawn is pinned. So king to a1, and now rook to f2. Again, the only winning move for Eline. Now you have to defend the bishop, and you make room for your pawn to be advanced to e2. We have queen captures on e7, on h7, and now it's a very tricky position. Only one winning move for Eline. Feel free to pause the video here and try to figure this out while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this incredible defensive idea. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is king to e7. But this is not what Eline played. I will just show why it's very strong. The problem is now you don't have to worry about any checks. And if queen to h3 going for d7, you don't care. Just pawn to e2. And now there's really nothing. You can always hide on f8. And even if rook to d7 check, you can still play king to f8. And if queen to h6 check now, king to e8, and now you don't care about any you really don't care about anything. If rook to g8 with check, you can always pick up the rook on d7, and you always have to worry about your back rank. You will get mated here. And if queen to h3 again, now you just play rook to f1 check, you trade everything, and you are completely winning. Rook captures, pawn captures with check, queen captures, now you gobble up the rook here, and you are up a full rook. So king to e7 was the way to victory here, but she played pawn to e2. She was, I think, down to a minute on the clock. And after pawn to e2, we have queen to g8 with check. King to e7, but now queen captures on b8, and you have big problems here. Yes, you do have e captures on d1 with queen check. Rook captures on d1, but now look at this. Bishop to b4 will win the black queen. So what's up with that? And also look at this. Queen to d8 with check, followed by queen to d7. How do you stop both of these threats? Well, Eline finds a way. She plays queen to d6, which seems like it's giving up a queen, but not really. The rook cannot move from the back rank, otherwise you're gonna get checkmated. But still, feel free to pause the video and try to find a winning idea for Thomas while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this brilliancy. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is bishop to b4. That's how you do it. And yes, black can block with c5, which is exactly what she did. But after pawn to c5, Thomas just played bishop captures on c5, and he was in this position on move 33 that Eline Roebers resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So a brilliant game by Thomas Beerdsen, who got into some very, very tricky positions. He was objectively lost for the entire game, but you know, that's easily said when you have the engine guiding you, when you're playing the actual game and you have to find like 10 precise winning moves in a row. That's easier said than done. So he defended well, and in the end he came out on top. Now the problem is you either give up your queen, which also comes with check, so you don't really have any tricks here. You don't have time for like pushing the pawn, opening up this diagonal, and if you capture the bishop, then you get checkmated. Just queen to d8 with the check, king to e6, and queen to d7 will be checkmate, as the bishop and pawn prevent the king from escaping. So yeah, really nicely done by Thomas. Bishop captures on c5. It was an incredible game, very nicely played by both of them. They've both had a great tournament so far, but in round 5, Thomas was the better player. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Dominik Pintaric, Suraj Kota, Dominik Isheli, Jeffrey Manser, and Richard F. Sayaj for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Tata Steel Challengers and Masters until it finishes. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.